Luton 1, Man United 2. Hoyland's on a roll. Man United are on a roll. Unbeaten in all competitions this calendar year. But it wasn't quite the most convincing win in my opinion.
Really enjoyable.
It was a great game to watch.
Really,
yeah.
And it was needed, I think, for those of us who watched through Sheffield United and Brighton, because, frankly, once it went 2-0, you might as well turn that shit off, to be honest. Not that it's not enjoyable watching Brighton, but you're not getting the proper experience. This was really good, which I think was even more interesting because 10 minutes into the game, you thought United were going to annihilate.
That's what I thought as well. Yeah,
they were really good in the first 10 minutes, United, and Luton looked very, very vulnerable. I don't know if it was the shock of Adebayo getting injured in the warm-up and them changing things from their stance, or what they wanted to implement, which we'll talk in a second, which was a little bit different from what we've seen them recently. Just took too long for the players to settle down with what they wanted to do. And United were great in those first 10 minutes. Hoyland takes the 2 goals brilliantly. That finish for the second goal is remarkable. It definitely means what he does.
Yeah,
with the chest control. I think most players there would just put it back into the area. I think he's genuinely going for goal.
Yeah,
for what he does.
So
I mean, it's an astonishing finish. He takes the first one really well. It's a mark of a player as well that when he went through, I don't think many people think he was going to miss.
No,
he's over that kind of narrative now, isn't it? He's finishing strong. He strikes through the ball with power and means it when he shoots. And it's obviously composed. To go back to that Nunes one,
yeah.
I realise there's a few other United players missed going around the goalkeeper, but that is the easiest way under that circumstance to score if you've got the pace of someone like him as well, because he's not a slouch.
He's got all the attributes to go on and be a really impressive.
Yeah.
Well, he's doing it now.
And
but
the biggest thing for him now is that people stop talking about him from any negative sense. Now we're now saying, we don't quite like him in our FPL teams, but for many of us, it just doesn't align work at the moment. But I'm sure there are people that will be thinking this week, well, I'll go from Alvarez to Hoyland because I don't want to look at Solanke against City for that this weekend. But then you've got the reverse with Hoyland next weekend. So, he's doing really well. The other United player that's doing really well is Kobe Mino.
Yeah, he is brilliant. His composure for his age, he looks like he's 30. The way he plays.
Well, when they went through the period, particularly in the latter part of the first half, where he just became so grim for them, the only time they could get up the pitch was when they got him on the ball. I think he completed 4 or 5 dribbles in the game. Super talent.
Yeah.
He's at odds with everything that United are, because I think it's weird. I get it and I don't.
What do you mean?
I think United's tactical idea in this game was to go direct as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And it worked.
To an extent.
Well, you look at the chances they had. But it's also that made them not great on the eye in terms of you're looking at the game going, question
they didn't have any control.
Why can't you go to Luton and have control? Yeah. And, to be fair, Chelsea went there, nearly blew a 3-0 lead, right, and completely lost control.
Arsenal
we saw it was difficult for your team. You were losing there. City were losing there. And we've spoken about this once we've kind of got Barkley and Lokonga together in the team. The narrative have changed, and they play some really good stuff.
Really good stuff, yeah.
Through midfield, which was also a little bit different in this game because the real change was with the selection of Tahi Chong, who they've been playing with a 2 behind a 1 at the moment. And it was still that, where Chong joined as one of the 2 behind the front man, even though Adebayo didn't play. But out of possession, they locked Chong into a more defensive role to make a midfield 3, to give a little bit more protection. I think it was it was to help against an overload of making sure that Mino and Casemiro and also Bruno Fernandes in pockets couldn't maintain control. And it gave a little bit more security to Doughty on that side playing against Dalot and Garnacho when United wanted to advance as well. And they functioned between the 2 in terms of their movement between the 3 in midfield and the 2 midfield, like a very good team.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed watching them.
I did.
And they were unlucky. But that said, at the same time, United had enough chances to kill the game.
Yeah.
So, strange. I think you could spin your narrative either way on them. I think Luton assets for the majority is going to be a hold through this week because of, obviously, the double coming up in game week 28 and what will be a probable fixture about game week 29. You will know definitely whether that happens or not before game week 27. Remember, FA Cup 5th round replays can't go to replays. So it will all be decided before game week 27, including the draw, the probability for the doubles, etc. Yada, yada, yada. Afterwards, Chip Strategy podcast the next day, February 29th, we'll do all that. For United, at this minute, wouldn't go near Fernandes or Rashford.
Yep, agree.
To be honest, if they're all the same price, I'd have way more interest in Garnacho, who, despite the 5-pointer, should have had a lot more from this.
Yeah.
He's had a shit ton of efforts in the game, which included his own sort of 1v1, which he over-egged it in the end. Really good talent. It's coming for him. There will be a point, I don't know if it's this season or next season, but he's going to be in all our teams.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
I think there is an explosive nature and a very good, promising player there.
Didn't he get like 16 points a couple of weeks ago or something?
I think he's the sort of one I'd mark out now and went, well, let's say he just has a solid but unspectacular finish to this season, and let's say he starts next season at, say, 6 million or something.
Oh, he's in.
Yeah, I think a lot of us would start next season with him, subject to what his price would be. So a player you want to keep your eye on, definitely going forward. I think Rashford Fernandes come back into the narrative if the Sheffield United fixture happened in 29, possibly in 28 or 29, particularly if we can't work out which Bournemouth midfielder to go for.
Yep.
He might be right. Everton at home, Sheffield United at home. I'm going to do that rather than a West Ham, Villa or Tottenham player. Defensively, Dallow's the one I went for, and I think that's the best choice.
He was picking up some decent positions.
He made two, I was going to say weird, really big, over-the-top runs.
Were you aware of that before you went into it?
No, of course not, mate. Yeah, I'm a genius. I knew that was going to happen.
No, I wasn't sure if you've seen something.
He made two really interesting diagonal runs into centre-forward positions, yeah. No, I wasn't aware that was likely going to be a probability, no. But I think it was the most interesting one to get. I know a lot made the saving and went Maguire. He obviously went off at half-time. I don't have to withdraw. Maguire and Casemiro was influenced by the yellow cards. Casemiro was a little bit fortuitous not to be sent off, to be very honest. Same goes for Casemiro in the City-Chelsea game, in my opinion, as well. Although the Casemiro one, the one he didn't get booked for, is all day long as a yellow card if he's not had the first one, so he's lucky. But the substitutions may have been that he's gone, I don't want to go down to 10 men here. And actually, I thought Johnny Evans in the second half defended really well. Yeah. They went a bit deeper. They defended the penalty area pretty well under that. Luton didn't complete too many of their crosses in that second half period, it didn't feel. So Maguire might be under threat. Shaw went off injured at half-time again, second consecutive game. I presume an injury. I mean, Bene was giving him so many problems that it might just be that, actually, no, changed it. Because, again, you couldn't say Lindelof did any worse.
No.
And I think the biggest thing, actually, for Luton was there was a period where United kind of locked in with 20 minutes to go, what you got now? And Luton had run out of energy.
Yeah.
And there's something to think about there in terms of the double in 28 as well. Because, again, similar to Bournemouth, if Luton do play in 29, remember, it will be Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. And it's going to be interesting to see how they go from Sunday playing United to Liverpool Wednesday. And admittedly, these two games are tougher than what they've got in 28 and 29. But it'd be interesting to see. I wouldn't be surprised, even if with the Liverpool absences, if that game becomes quite easy for Liverpool on Wednesday. Yeah. If there's some tired legs, etc. Losing Adebayo's a blow. We obviously don't know how long for at this moment. So again, until you got more info, it's probably a hold at the moment.
Doughty's a bit of a FPL community darling.
And he will be.
Ex-Lively.
He will be. He will be.
Yeah, but he did.
But it's the right one.
Yeah, he was
returned.
up there.
There's good underlines again. Yes, there's no return. But I think none of us went there thinking, no, he's going to get 15 points every week. No, but I mean, it was never really that case anyway. It was the potential was there.
Yeah, and like you look at that double, I know I agree with you about the title. There's also
other than Arsenal, who's keeping enough clean sheets at the moment to feel like anyone else is worth trusting to punt this guy who's really offensive and fun to watch.
Yeah. Right, lovely stuff.